Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Predicts WWE Fastlane 2023, taking place live tonight, Peacock WWE Network, 8 o'clock p.m., and then the kickoff show, 7 o'clock p.m., Peacock WWE Network, as well as social media, especially their YouTube, and Gainesbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's interesting because it's almost like an NXT card, and I say that because they have only announced 5 matches. And I even mentioned this to my wife, and I was like, it's kind of weird that there's only 5 matches taking place on what is usually a 3-hour pay-per-view, premium live event. But that being said, sometimes on the lesser known events, so to speak, there's no matches on the kickoff. So, it'll probably be just a 3-panel as they've been doing in the past. Usually it's Sam Roberts and then Jackie Redmond and then Matt Kemp, I think. And if it shows up tonight, just talking about the matches, everything else, what's going on. But it's interesting because of the week that's coming up next week as far as NXT goes. And that's why I mentioned NXT as well. But 5 big matches taking place tonight. A lot of rumors, a lot of speculation taking place as well. It'll be interesting to see what takes place, what happens, who appears, who doesn't appear. It's going to be an interesting night for sure. So like I said, 5 big matches taking place. And if you watched SmackDown last night, it was a very interesting show. I got to say this, right? Rhea Ripley scares the crap out of me when she's doing that backstage promo with just her and Paul Heyman. And, Heyman said he had to check to get the authorization, so to speak. He had to make a phone call. And Ripley looks straight at him and she goes, what did she say? She goes, Paul, acknowledge me. And just the way she said it. And I think she's only in her 20s, but man, I was talking about this on the Throwdown yesterday, just with regards to her being a beast, and not in a bad way, but just, her presence. And, Heyman, I don't know what it was about Heyman last night, but he looked like a ghost. He was very white. He's got the white hair coming through, thicker than usual. But fact is, when it comes to Heyman, it's a very dangerous man. But to see that dangerous side of Rhea Ripley last night, it was, it's interesting. And then the way it played out with regards to the end, and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso making their presence felt, and whether or not the Bloodline was on the same page as the Judgment Day, I don't know. We'll see probably more tonight. But it's reminiscent back in the day of the Wyatt family and the Shield, and it's you got 2 hungry power groups, and championships all over the place, and they're going to come to a head, and War Games would be pretty cool. They could mix it up. Or they could wait till Royal Rumble and see what happens there. But it's going to be an interesting night. I tell you that much there. And if you watched SmackDown as well last night, I felt bad for Rey Mysterio. Like I said on the Throwdown, he is one of my favorites. He is on my Mount Rushmore for sure. I felt bad because I think about 2 minutes into the match with Bobby Lashley there, he had mask problems. You could see, and I was like, was this done on purpose? Is this why he was potentially going to be out of the LWO? And obviously that didn't come true last night. But he basically handled himself with a mask that looked like it was ready to fall off at any time last night against Lashley. And Lashley was just chucking him around. And then the way it all ended in the LWO, just, all over the place. And the Street Profits and Lashley looking great. And, it was insane, from start to finish. And that's the way they closed off the show. And all of a sudden you got, like I said, the end of the show had the Cena and LA Knight and Jimmy Uso, and it was a good night last night for SmackDown. I enjoyed it, and I made sure to watch it because of tonight for sure, and doing the recap. Well, not the recap, but predicts today. But first match of the night, 6-man tag team match, the LWO, which is going to be Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and to be determined, because both of the other members of the LWO got their butts handed to them last night. I don't know. I think it was Cruz del Toro when he went into the ring steps. Man, he looked like he messed himself up. Like that looked like a legitimate injury. I didn't see anything online today, but he sold it well. And like I said, the LWO, last night they looked horrible. And then Rey Mysterio goes into the trainer's room, checks, and all of a sudden he says, "Yeah, we're down to 2." Basically, they're not going to put Zelina Vega in the match. She'll be there ringside. But Mysterio, Escobar, and to be determined taking on Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits. And it was interesting because there's rumor that Dragon Lee was going to be part of this match, and he was there on SmackDown last night. But when Mysterio came out and he started talking to Escobar, Mysterio came out and he said, "Yeah, I've got to make a phone call." And there's no way in the world Dragon Lee was going to be part of this match if Rey Mysterio was going to make a phone call, because all he had to do was go down the hall and chat with him that way. So who's it going to be? And is it going to be CM Punk? Probably not, but I will say this. I'm going to say, because I've heard he is under contract and has been for a while, but they're waiting for the TKO merger to happen to take place. I'm going to say basically Carlito comes in the place of, the other members of the LWO, and, Wild and Cruz del Toro obviously injured. And so we see the LWO, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and Carlito take on Bobby Lashley in the Street Profits there tonight in that 6-man tag team match. Who wins, though? Rey Mysterio got beat clean by Lashley last night. So U.S. Championship wasn't on the line, but Lashley can say, hey, I beat you, and I can see a match coming up between the two. Obviously not tonight, but maybe Survivor Series would be, or a SmackDown show, whatever the case may be. That being said, I want to see Lashley. I want to see the Street Profits. I want to see them do what they can. Does Carlito turn on the LWO? Does Carlito try to become the new leader of the LWO? Does Santos Escobar turn on Mysterio? But anyway, any way you look at it tonight, I see Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, going over, basically become a powerhouse, unit, so to speak. And the demise of the LWO as we know it, not. I'm going to say, as far as Rey Mysterio goes, I'm going to say the group keeps intact, but I'm going to say we'll see a heel turn, whether it's Carlito, whether it's Santos. I'm going to say Mysterio, doesn't have a good night tonight, and Lashley and the Street Profits for the win in that one there. Next match, undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. This is going to be interesting. The Judgment Day as champs Finn Balor and Damian Priest, with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, obviously, taking on Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. So, side note in this one, we're going to see the debut of Jade Cargill. If you listened to the Throwdown last night or watched the Throwdown last night, you will have seen or heard me talk about Jade Cargill. And who do we put her up first against as far as making a statement? This is one of those matches she can make the statement. Obviously, what kind of ties would she have with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso? I don't know. I don't know how she plays into that. But both of those guys being on Raw, the rumors of Jade Cargill making her debut tonight, the rumors of Jade Cargill going to Monday Night Raw, it would make a lot of sense to see her in this match. But do we see Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso with the titles? No, I think Jade Cargill comes out, gets in the face of Rhea Ripley, and that sets things off. And all of a sudden, we have the presence of Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and like I said, that is money right there. Besides Bianca Belair, that is a money feud. Charlotte Flair put her into against Jade Cargill down the line, and that's to me, that's money. So I want to see the debut of Jade Cargill tonight in this match here. I'm going to say the Judgment Day retains Finn Balor, Damian Priest. I'm going to say, side note, like I said, Jade Cargill, gets in the face of Rhea Ripley. But I'm going to say Judgment Day for the win to retain in this one here. I'm going to say Cody and Jey Uso will look strong, but I'm going to say, because of what happened last night, the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, we're going to see what happens. Continuing that storyline of the dominant faction, so to speak. But I'm going to say Jade Cargill debuts in this match, and Judgment Day for the win there. Next match, which we could see Jade Cargill there as well, but I've seen this, and I agree with this, and I'll get to it in a moment there. Next match, though, triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky as champion with Damage Control in her corner, taking on Asuka as well as Charlotte Flair. If you watched SmackDown last night, obviously you'll see the dissension that happened between Bayley and Io Sky once again. Dissension that happened between Charlotte Flair and Asuka. And it's, Michael Cole, I think, kept referencing last night with regards to SmackDown, and that was, there's no DQs in this match. Damage Control can be there ringside and get involved and then basically be part of this match. So with that being said, it's a toss-up because I can't see them putting the title on Asuka. I can't see them giving Charlotte Flair another title at this point. I'm going to say Io Sky for the win. And I'm going to say somehow, some way, she basically comes out with that title. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I also can say this, and this, I don't know. It can go one of two ways. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say we see the return of Kairi Sane tonight, but whether or not she plays a factor in maybe challenging Io Sky for that championship, or whether or not Damage Control turns on Io Sky and Kairi Sane makes the save for Io Sky. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm going to say Io Sky for the win. I'm not sure how Kairi Sane's going to play out, but I'm going to say we see the re-debut of Kairi Sane tonight in this match, whether it be at the end or during the match itself. Second last match of the night, last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins against Shinsuke Nakamura. This is also interesting simply because of this. So do I see the way the storyline is played out? Rollins with the bad back, needs time off, whatever the case may be. Nakamura for the win. He's been looking like a strong heel as of late, given the title. But that being said, what happens? This is a last man standing match. And I heard this on another podcast, and I was like, man, that makes too much sense. So Seth Rollins loses the title. Nakamura finally becomes champion. And Damian Priest, does he cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because there's just too much there. They've talked about dissension as far as the Judgment Day goes with regards to Rhea Ripley and Dom taking off and doing their own thing. We got Damian Priest, still not a big fan of JD McDonough. There's another scenario as well. Does Priest try to cash in, but McDonough gets up in his face? But I mean, if basically Rhea Ripley and Dom are going their separate way, you're not going to just have the Judgment Day with regards to Finn Balor as well as Damian Priest. So JD McDonough as a third would be perfect, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I'm going to say this: Nakamura for the win to become new champion, and then Damian Priest cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase post-match. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say he cashes in to become new champ. So that'll be interesting if it happens. And what do they do with Nakamura from there? Do the Nakamura and Priest feud? With Rollins maybe being sidelined. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then main event, what appears to be the main event, if you go into WWE.com, we got John Cena, LA Knight, taking on the Bloodline, which is Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman. And this one here, dissension in the Bloodline. Michael Cole, I think it was again last night, mentioned with regards to Jimmy Uso and whether or not he's officially back in the Bloodline because Roman Reigns has not been there. Roman Reigns is returning on the season premiere of SmackDown next Friday. With that being said, I'm going to say there's even more dissension with the Bloodline. I mean, you've got two powerful groups, the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, and they're simply going to implode at one point in time. I'm going to say John Cena, LA Knight with the huge victory tonight. I'm going to say LA Knight. And if you watched SmackDown last night, you'll know where I'm going with this, but there was no finish as far as last night goes. So Luke Sikoa got involved in that main event. LA Knight didn't beat Jimmy Uso and vice versa, disqualification. I mean, Knight technically, yes, I guess with the victory, but the fact is the way it played out, he didn't get that pop. He didn't get that win on the main stage. Tonight's his main stage. So I'm going to say alongside John Cena, LA Knight pins Jimmy Uso tonight in the main event in that tag team match. And I'm going to say because of that, Jimmy Uso, it sets up the storyline with Roman Reigns coming back and Jimmy Uso taking the fall at this event here, and then to see how that plays out on Friday of next week. So that's it's going to be, like I said, interesting night. And yeah, I guess that's it. It's like I said, it's so weird. Only 5 matches taking place, and right before I went on air, I checked WWE.com, I checked the various news websites and stuff like that, and I saw absolutely nothing mentioned at all. But I'll go through my picks again, guys. 6-man tag team match, LWO. They lose to Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I'm going to say Carlito basically is the replacement there as the third member. And I'm going to say the LWO turns on Rey Mysterio. Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. I'm going to say the Judgment Day retain, but I'm going to say we see the debut of Jade Cargill getting in the face of Rhea Ripley. Triple threat match with the WWE Women's Championship. I'm going to say Io Sky retains. I'm going to say Damage Control potentially turns on her, but I'm going to say Kairi Sane gets involved in this match, and we see the return of Kairi Sane. Last man standing match, World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins loses to Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura with the win for the title, and then Damian Priest post-match cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase. And finally, main event, John Cena, LA Knight pick up the win over the Bloodline. And I'm going to say LA Knight pins Jimmy Uso, setting up for this coming next Friday's SmackDown there, guys. So those are my picks. And I keep doing this. Sorry, if you listen to audio, you have no idea what I'm doing, but I keep hitting the screen on StreamYard. I'm still getting used to doing StreamYard again. But the throwdown, you'll hear me kind of laughing at myself because I'm kind of all over the place. But a little bit better with CWN Predicts. But guys, follow me at Chris Maloney, CWN. X, as well as Instagram, and then Reddit. And, you can check me out there. You can also check me out tonight, guys. Live recap of WWE Fastlane taking place 7 o'clock p.m. on WrestlingObserver.com. Yours truly will be doing the recap. You'll see my handsome face. If you go into the articles, or not the articles, but the recaps I've done, and it's the picture. So you watch the opening sequence for CWN Predicts, and the picture I chose was me with Orange Cassidy, but so I had to solo it out. So you'll see some guy's arm in the picture on the Observer, but it's Orange Cassidy next to me if I can talk. But guys, live recap tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. WrestlingObserver.com. I'll be doing the kickoff show as well as the main show. It'll be interesting to see if it goes to 11 o'clock, but I can't see it happening with 5 matches there. So it's definitely going to be an interesting night. But like I said, check me out at Chris Maloney at Chris Maloney CWN. And as always, you can check me out through email, chris@cwnonline.ca, and of course, cwnonline.ca. And guys, that is it. I'll be back with the Throwdown sometime next week. It's a busy week between live wrestling taking place in the city. Again, I said this yesterday on the Throwdown, but it is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. So it's Thanksgiving Sunday tomorrow, Monday, Thanksgiving as well. So lots of family stuff going on. And then Friday, live wrestling happening in the city. And I think there's something else going on. So I'm very limited as far as the days go with regards to what days I can do the show. But episode number 6 should launch as far as the Throwdown goes next week. I also want to officially on this show say happy birthday to my dad. My dad's birthday is officially today. I announced it yesterday, but I'll announce it again today. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. Miss you. He is in New Brunswick, but he was up this summer, so we enjoyed some family time together. And my 5-year-old absolutely loved him. And she the pandemic kind of it's a lot of people, but it was nice to see him and nice to interact and be around him again. So again, happy birthday, Dad. I love you and miss you. And guys, that is it. I'll be back to the Throwdown Predicts. I think it's a little while before I do another one. It's I may do UFC 294, which is the 21st, but then that's a double shot because there'll also be Bound for Glory, which is taking place as well. NXT, I know, doesn't have anything until December with Deadline, and then WWE Survivor Series, obviously, next month. But that is it for Predicts. I mean, I'll be back, a couple weeks. And but like I said, check out the Throwdown every week. I get a chance to do it, not the same day, but episode 6 will be out sometime next week. So guys, that is it. If you're in Canada, enjoy Thanksgiving this weekend. Once again, happy birthday to my dad, and I will talk to everybody again sometime soon.